I'm going to spend about 20 minutes. About 2 o'clock this morning, I was up, my internet, my phone, and came across this site called Logical Fallacy, the etymological fallacy, alias abuse of etymology. So we're going to analyze that. The mistake of confusing the current meaning of a word with the meaning of the etymon to be the real or true meaning of the current word. I'll read it again. The mistake of confusing the current meaning of a word with the meaning of the etymon to be the real or true meaning of the current word. I'll continue. Since the meaning of the words change over time, often considerably, the meaning of a etymon may be very different from the current meaning of a word derived from it. The fact that a word historically derives from an etymon may be interesting, but it cannot tell us the current meaning of a word. For instance, the English word decimate means to destroy a large portion of, but is derived from a Latin word having to do with a tenth of something. See the source below for more on its etymology. Some people who know this insist that decimate therefore means to destroy, exactly 1/10, rather than a large part, and may claim that as its real or true meaning. However, current English is not Latin. Logical. The etymological fallacy as a logical mistake results when one reasons about the etymon as if the conclusion applied to the current word. This is a logical error similar to evocation, which involves confusing two meanings of the same word. But it differs from evocation that the etymological fallacy involves the meaning of two different words through those words are historically connected. All right, let's analyze that. What do you get? What do you get out of this? Taj, do not talk. Selah, do not talk. Taj, do not talk, and Selah, do not talk. All right, what do we? They're calling this. They're calling the use of etymology as its current meaning to be a logical fallacy. They're saying that the current meaning of the word is the correct meaning, and the etymological meaning is a fallacious meaning. To use etymology is confusing. This is what they're saying. They're calling this logical fallacy, etymological fallacy. What do you think about this? All right, trying to keep us from knowing our history. Any other thoughts? Selah, do not talk. Taj, do not talk. You were in the back. All right. Keep us on the wrong track. All right. Give me more detail. Keep us on the wrong track of what? From what? Anyone else? This is the kind of discussions that I had when I started studying etymology. My co-workers, teachers, would say to me that etymology cannot be used. How can the students use etymology? They have to know the current meaning of words. Etymology does not give the students the current meaning of words. I'm not saying that. That's what my fellow co-workers who are teachers stated. So the fallacy that they're presenting is that it's confusing to use etymology and present it as its true meaning, and to say that the etymological meaning of the word is its current meaning. Any other thoughts? How can we use etymology? Is etymology the current meaning of a word? Is the etymon of a word its current meaning? Or is the connotative meaning of a word its current meaning? What do you mean by current meaning? This question. What do you mean by current meaning? Anyone? What they present to us today. Is etymology, is the etymon, the etymological meaning of a word, its current meaning? And not in all cases. And what are some cases in which it's not its current meaning? And what cases is etymology not its current meaning? In what cases is etymology not its current meaning? You say it's not in all cases. So if you're saying not in all cases, that means that there's some cases in which etymology it's its current meaning. What does etem mean? True and real. So the etymology of a word is its true meaning. The etymology of the word is its current meaning. The current meaning, the etymology does not change. What occurs is new meanings, connotative meanings are developed, and the true and real meaning is suppressed. So you have semanticists who's trying to get this off. They're trying to present the argument that the etymology, to make an etymological argument, is confusing because you're bringing in another meaning which is different from what they call the current meaning. So the connotative meaning is referred to as this current meaning. But the current meaning, if they're referring to is the current meaning the true meaning? Is the current meaning or connotative meaning the true meaning? We know that etym is true. What are your thoughts? Based on what I've been teaching, based on what Selah has been teaching you. How do you present a logical, how do you present a counter-argument? What will be your counter-argument to this etymological fallacy? What is a counter-argument? Does someone think of a counter-argument? You can't use etymology. You know, you're dealing with old meanings, man. It's 2014. You know, what are you talking about? You know, you got to deal with what's up today. You got to be current, man. You know, you're dealing with these old meanings. Decimate doesn't mean to destroy 1/10. Decimate means to destroy large numbers. What are you talking about? With that etymology stuff, man. Get out of here with that etymology stuff, man. Man, you will confuse our children. See, Mr. Bey, you're dealing with that etymology stuff, man. See, you're dealing with, man, go back to Temple University with that crap, man. You know, man, you could confuse our children with that etymology stuff. You mean, how they going to pass the SATs and PSA and GREs, and how they going to pass that, Mr. Bey? They can't use etymology, Mr. Bey, to pass the GRE and SATs and PSATs. You know what I mean? They can't deal with etymology. So you got to deal with the real meaning of the word, Mr. Bey. You got to deal with current. This is 2014. What's your counter argument? Because that was presented to me. Real. All right? Selah, help us out.
Well, if the etymon means true sense, then the etymology would tell me the true meaning of the word, and that the current meaning is based on the connotation, which is an added or shaded meaning of a word. And etymology refers to the denotation, where D refers to complete and note is to mark. So denotation is the complete marking, the complete definition of the word. And that comes from an etymological study. If I have a complete meaning of a word already, then why do I need to add to it? If the denotation is the complete meaning, which we get from etymology, which again is the true meaning of a word, then why do I need to add connotative meanings to it unless there's an agenda? So to answer your question, Abdullah, the etymon is the true meaning of the word, so therefore the etymology is the true meaning of the word, regardless of what people think the word means by its current usage, Islam.
So we can also say that the etymology is the current meaning. The etymology is the current meaning. See, they're using this current meaning as the basis, as the roadmap to determine what is real and what is not. So this is key, you know, to understanding. Brother Rick, talk to me. All right. But what I'm saying is that the current meaning is the etymology. The etymology is the old and current meaning. We don't just want to say that etymology is the old meaning as if it's not current, as if the meaning doesn't exist anymore. The etymology is its current meaning. See, they're looking at this, they're using this term current meaning to imply that if it's not current, it can't be used. It can't be applied. But the etymology always is in play. What it is, it has been suppressed. And you can base an argument in etymology because that is the true and real meaning. So we're dealing with truth, right? We're dealing with the truth. Exactly. The definition does not change. What it is that they create connotative meanings and suppress, cover up, layer. So it's not, the meaning of words do not change. That's a falsehood. You got scholars who say that. Scholars who say, man, words change meanings. Words don't change meanings. People, European colonists, create connotative meanings. They ain't like the word itself change the meaning. How can a word change meaning? Somebody has to create the meaning. Someone has to create a modern connotative meaning. Doesn't change on its own. All right? So it's not, so there's not a change in meaning. Any comments? Let's get you to look at this. Taj.
It's clear that they're continuing the social it's clear that they're continuing the admitted social engineering that they expressed in the military manual, technical research manual styled as King Alfred, where they're deliberately dumbing the people down and making countermeasures to any progressive thought or critical thinking. Yeah, as a whole, I wanted to make that statement as an overall.
So this is a military plan. It's a military plan to get you away from the truth. It's foundation. It's done strategically. And so our people who not having this foundation, you know, would be like my co-workers and criticize me. You know, they just, you know, trying to get through the day, and, you know, they just want to get paid, you know. And I am bringing this etymology stuff, you know. You know, they don't care about no etymologies, they just want to get paid, you know what I mean, get their pension, and, you know, hey, you know, etymology, yeah, huh? You know, I want to get paid. I mean, I ain't worrying about no etymology. I'm trying to, you know, get through my pension, you know, hey. So that's it. So just wanted to, and then also they'll have alias abuse of etymology. So they'll call this abuse of etymology, where you are using the real and true meaning of a word to make your argument. So this is, they call it abuse of etymology. So I just want to, you know, present this to you. Came across this morning. All right, something to, you know, analyze and think about. Yes.
They'll turn around
if it's feedback
and counter what they stated right there as soon as someone's in the room.
Like this way.
Linguistics, they will hold them to the standard, etymological standard of what the phrases actually mean.
They do. They do. See, they don't want the people to, they don't, the key is the European colonists, the occupational government, USA, United States of America, US, not the government, occupational government, is to maintain the occupation. They have to keep us dumbed down. All right, got a statement, question?
So is legalese a language based in etymology?
Good question.
Yes. Absolutely. Legalese is a language based in etymology, because they hold you to the etymon, and you make your argument based on that. All right, so I just wanted to drop that on you. Where's the marker? Oh, here it is. Any other comments? So where did we find the etymology? Talked about this, the entry, level, meaning. So we have the word slave, right? Slave is an Eastern European nationality, all right? Slavic, Eastern European nationality. In here, in the entry level meanings, you'll see the connotations. One who's conquered, oppression. That's connotation. They would call this current meaning. Current meaning. And they would use what they call, quote unquote, current meaning as the basis to determine any other meaning. So this is the current meaning, as they will call it, and anything that is not in harmony with this quote-unquote current meaning is false. Or they'll say, well, you know, that's obsolete. That's archaic. You know, that doesn't apply anymore. See, that meaning of slave doesn't apply anymore. Yeah, that used to be, once was the meaning, but we're in 2014 now, so the current meaning is this. They already set you up to maintain the control of your birthright and the occupation of our land. The European colonists, the occupational government, USA, United States of America, all right, created this paradigm to steal and maintain occupation of our land. So this is why I'm strong on this and won't move from this. And they create connotative word meanings of words to control your mind, control your thinking. Because they don't, the European colonists and occupiers of our land do not want you to think outside of their controlled, orchestrated paradigm. Once you begin to think outside of their false, distorted, birthright stealing paradigm, you now begin to move into areas of birthright and sovereign thinking and begin to challenge their false claim and their occupational rule of our land. So there's a political agenda that's connected to this. All right? Any other comments, questions? I'm going to be bringing Sister Selah on. I just wanted to, bring home this. All right, so this is the entry-level meanings. Turn around for me, please. You take notes on this? You got this? Good. Good. So you have your etymological brackets and your entry-level meanings. This is where your connotations are. Denotation. What does the word signify? Indicate? What is its marker? Pointer? What does it refer to? Hebrew is an agricultural-based language. The scholars, as they translate Hebrew into English, they suppress the agricultural-based context of the Hebrew words and apply an abstract system of thinking. When the Greeks did this. When the Greeks translated Hebrew text into Greek, that's called the Septuagint. The Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Hebrew text. And the Greeks use a system of abstract thought to suppress the agricultural nature of the Hebrew language. So now they created these abstract connotative meanings. So now the words that you say, what does it refer to? So someone says a word. I'll ask them, what does it denote? Signify? What is its marker? What is its pointer? Chair. Chair. Microphone. Marker. All right? Ceiling fan. That's Hebrew. A word has a marker, signifier, designator. Egyptian, same thing. The Greeks removed that in their translation. So you say, Allah. What does this marker? The Most High. All right, you said you just used another abstract. The Almighty, another abstract. The Everlasting, another abstract. You go on, it's still abstract. What is this marker? What is this marker? The marker for Allah is the moon. Let's go outside. Let's tell you the marker. The marker for the word Allah is the moon. That's the marker. The Greeks were the ones, when they translated, to remove the marker from the word, to suppress the agricultural-based context of the Hebrew language. It's birthright theft, to suppress you. Every word has a marker, indicator, designator, referring point, a pointer. The Greeks, thanks to them, removed the reference point. On that, I'll end. Sister Selah is coming up. Peace.
Okay, so today, or this evening rather, I would like to start by briefly talking to you all about a presentation that I recently did at my community college. So last Tuesday, we had a professional development day where the classes did not meet, because the instructors, because the,
Back up a little bit.
oh, back up, okay.
So you don't cause the sound.
Good right here? Okay. So, yes, the instructors were presenting to other faculty and staff on various concepts that they deemed important. And so I submitted a proposal, and they chose my proposal. They gave me 2 hours. They gave me 2 hours to present. Okay. So this is what I presented on. The title, I won't go back, but the title was, How Are We Going to Learn All of These Words? And the subtitle was Etymology Across the Content Areas. Because the goal of the presentation was to show that you can study and learn any field through etymology. Okay? And so the slideshow that I have up is, I'll show you a couple of slides from that presentation, not the entire thing. For example, if I'm studying botany, okay, botany is the science of studying different plants, flowers, trees, etc. Okay, so etymology can help me when I am distinguishing the various genus, the family, and the species of a plant. Okay. For example, what you see up here is this is taxonomy, which refers to how do I classify something? How do I classify an animal? How do I classify a plant? How do I classify, even humans were classified based on this system, which was created by Carolus Linnaeus, who is the same person who created the color scheme, where black, white, red, yellow, those were the actual colors that he identified people as. Now we don't call people yellow, right? But when he came up with this system, he had it in a hierarchy where white was the highest, then yellow, then red, and black was at the end. The same person who created that system created this system of how to classify plants and animals, okay? And so if you notice, you have the domain, the kingdom, the phylum, the class, the order, the family, the genus, and the species. So up here is general, at the top is general. As you go towards the bottom, you get more specific. Thus, the most specific is called the species. Similar roots there, same roots, species, specific. Look at how it's spelled. Meaning we're getting to the most detailed aspect of this particular plant. However, when they name plants, they only refer to 2 of the names out of that whole list. Okay? So I have a rose. The rose is going to have a name in each one of these categories. Okay? However, when I'm talking to other botanists, I'm only going to say the last 2, which is the genus and the species. That's called binomial nomenclature. Etymology can help you with that. Binomial. What's the prefix of binomial? 2. Nome. Nome refers to name. Binomial. To name. Nomenclature. Nomenclature, excuse me. Referring to this is the system we use to name something. We use a system of using two names. That's what binomial nomenclature refers to. And so the etymology is used to name the genus and the species. Example. Okay, this is called a Rosa canina, a canine. Okay, Rosa would be the genus, and canina would be the species, because it's more specific. So, and this is in Latin. So Rosa means rose. Think of canine. This is like the word canine, which is a dog. So this is classified Rosa. So the family name is Rosa, the genus is Rosa as well, but the species is canina, which refers to a dog rose. And if you notice, the family has an AE, has an E at the end, where the genus does not. The family names always carry the AE at the end of it. So if I'm a student, I'm taking botany, there's so many names I have to remember, but if I see a pattern, I taught a lesson on this today in school. You learn better when you see patterns versus when you look at things in randomness, okay? So look for the pattern in the words. You see the E at the end, oh, that's the family name. Okay, so like I stated, family names. These are all the family names. So, can I get up here? Yes. Can y'all see me if I'm up here? Okay. I need to point. So, this part at the end refers to, it's just a family. Again, we're talking about classifying plants, right? We're classifying plants, and we have a list. It's about 10 different ways to classify the plant. We're only looking at 3, the 3 most specific, which is family, genus, and species. Family, the name of the family, A-C-E-A-E at the end, and then the first part, which will be like your prefix, it tells you information about the family. So here we have, what do you see in front of the A-C-E-A-E? Aster. Who remembers what aster means? Star. Therefore, this refers to plants that are shaped like a star. Okay? Faba. That means bean. Like fava beans. Faba. It refers to plants that are beans, peas, legumes. This is their family. This comes from apium, A-P-I. Apium. It refers to celery. So this refers to plants that are in the same family as celery. This refers to ginger. This refers to, it's a nightshade. It's a nightshade plant. Again, the ending is the same. The part in front is different to give you information about that particular family. As you can see. Okay. And so this, I showed them this so that they could visually connect an image with the meaning. So, okay. And then the genus, so that was for the family. The genus is Latin as well, and it ends in A, UM, or US. There's 7 classes of distinction that you would have for genus. Again, genus was like when I said Rosa, telling me that the genus of this particular plant is a rose. And therefore, what's left is the species. So that's where you get more descriptive. It's also Latin in form. For example, say I had a white rose. It would be called Rosa albus. If I had a rose that was just considered the most beautiful of all roses, it would be Rosa bellis, because bellis is Latin for pretty or beautiful. You also have geographical species, species that are named based on where they have been found. So Anglicus refers to English, Hispanicus refers to Spanish, and then you have personal names based on somebody who may have done work with that plant or somebody who quote unquote discovered it, although I don't see how someone can discover something that's in nature, right? I mean, you didn't really discover it, right? You came upon it, but you're not like the founder of the plant. However, you know, they tag their names onto things for ownership purposes. Yes, sir?
How would folklore expression fit into what you're describing, such as Georgia pine type expression, common people use?
Oh, you're talking about the everyday expression,
yes.
The everyday expression, Georgia pine. Well, in order for me to answer for that particular case, I would have to know what the binomial nomenclature is. But really, the everyday term that people use is really kind of based on translating the Latin, the genus and the species, which are in Latin. When they're translated into English, that's the common term that everyday people use. Does that answer your question? All right. Also, you can use this for anatomy and physiology. For example, anterior. In what position, if you're looking at the anterior view, you're looking from the front, because A-N-T-E refers to front, similar to pre. If I'm looking in the back, I call it the posterior, post meaning after. Now, anatomical roots. So if you notice, if you see heme, if you see Angie, if you know that you're looking at something regarding blood. So here we have hemorrhoid, has to do with blood. If I have angioplasty, I don't know what it means 100%, but I know it has to do with blood. So now I'm taking an exam. I have so many words to remember, but these keys will help me to identify the meaning of the words on cue, on the spot. And then when you're trained in this manner, when you're in the work, when you're doing the work, you don't have time to look up the meaning of something in a medical dictionary. You have to know it, you know, off the top of your head, and this is a good way to help you remember. Okay, so then brain, like cerebellum, cerebral. If I have hair, tricho, which here we have trichopterus. But what's most important is looking at first the anatomical root meaning. Blood, brain, hair, cartilage, finger, whatever part of the body you're referring to. Next, if I'm talking about surgical procedures, then I add on, based on what my procedure would be, I might add on plasty. Plasty refers to surgical repair. So angioplasty, that means I'm repairing. Think back to the previous slide. We said, huh? Blood. The blood, correct. So I'm not in medicine, but I can, when I see that word, I'm going to know what it means because I know what plasty means and I know what angio means. And that's how, again, you should be studying the terms. Rhinoplasty. Now, you may not know exactly what rhino means, but think about the animal, rhino. What's so prominent on an animal, on the rhinoceros? Pardon? Nose, right. So therefore, rhinoplasty is what kind of surgery in particular? What are they doing? They're repairing. They're repairing your nose. Okay. Palate. Palate is what you see in front. What's your palate? Mouth. So palatoplasty refers to repairing your mouth. Ectomy. That means I'm removing a part of the body. A cranioectomy is what? Remember what cranial means? Your brain. So cranioectomy, I'm removing a part of the brain. Iridectomy is like iris. What's the iris? The eye. So I'm removing a part of the eye. And hysterectomy. Hyster is actually the uterus. So when you have a hysterectomy, it's removing your uterus. Okay. So again, this is what I presented at Prince George's Community College because my goal was to show the instructors a way to assist their students to be able to learn these terms. Because they're required to do so, why not present it in a way that is easier for them to understand as opposed to just give them a random list of words that they have to memorize, right? Okay, and the last one, I mean, oh, this is a good one too. Itis, you know, everybody knows itis. Everybody has heard that word itis. What does it really mean though? It means inflammation. So gingivitis is the inflammation of your gums. Arthritis is the inflammation of your joints. Chondritis, con refers to cartilage. So it's the inflammation of cartilage. And then if I have algia, that refers to sensitivity to pain. Fibromyalgia, that refers to fibra is the fiber tissue. So it's a tissue is the fibra. And my refers to the muscles. So it's a pain, a sensitivity to pain in your tissues and your muscles. Okay. I've heard this word fibromyalgia, I can't tell you how many times. I just knew it meant someone didn't feel well. Like literally, I just knew people who said they had fibromyalgia, they were always tired. They never really wanted to like be up and moving and out and about. They didn't have energy. Why? Oh, because they have so much pain in their muscles and in their tissues. No wonder, you know, they're so, they don't want to really do too much. I wouldn't want to do too much either if I had pain in my muscles and tissue. So that just gives me, once again, a better understanding. Arthralgia, sensitivity to pain in your joints. Cardialgia, cardio, heart, so, excuse me, sensitivity to pain in your heart. And like I said, I did this for various fields. I'm not going to go into all of them today. However, I did it for psychology. Okay. I did it for mathematics, which we've talked about. Like, what is a bisector? Think back. Bi means two. Sect, think of section. What do you do when you section something? Cut. So a bisector cuts something into two. A bisecting angle. That's where we see that in geometry. Bisecting angle. Cuts it into two. Okay, so I did it for math. I did it for political science. This one was very interesting. Very interesting. Crassy refers to rule. So does archy. But crassy is Latin from kratos, and archy is Greek from archos, both meaning to rule. So we know when we see democracy, when we see anarchy, that when we see aristocratic, all that has to do with rule. We look what's before the crassy or before the archy to tell us, okay, what type of rule is this? Oligarchy. Oligos means few. So oligarchy is ruled by few. Anarchy, an referring to no or not. So anarchy is no rule. There's no particular person, entity, group that is ruling. Aristocracy. Aristos means rich. So aristocracy is being ruled by the rich. Democracy, demo means people, being ruled by the people. And the most basic form of democracy is called mob rule. Okay, so. Yeah. Theocracy, monarchy. Okay, so like I said, social science. I did it for economics. I did it for philosophy and religion, etc. But I want to show you one that, so I'm adding to this presentation. So after I made the presentation, I'm adding to it even more fields of study. So let's see. Okay, so this is what I recently added. We're looking at geonyms. When I see NYM, like synonym, antonym, nym refers to name. So this is the naming of, what's geo mean? What do y'all think geo means? Earth, right. Like geology, the study of earth. Geography, writing. Graph is writing or drawing earth. Okay. Geometry, the measurements of the earth. Here we're looking at geonyms. First, the continents. America, that is one that, if there's any continent name that we have talked about, it would be America. And we know that America, same as Morocco, same as Maghreb, which means the extreme west. Maghreb al-Aqsa, the extreme west. So that's what the etymology of the continent entitled America, that's what it refers to. Africa, named by Rome after defeating Carthage in the Punic Wars. Africa. Antarctica, Greek for Antarctic, meaning opposite. Opposite of north, excuse me. Ant meaning opposite, and Arctic meaning north. Like the Arctic, when people think of Arctic, excuse me, they think of far north pole, cold area, right? Okay. Asia, coming from the Phoenician Asu, which means east. Oh, isn't Asia in the east? So the name of each of these continents is exactly what it describes, and what it is what it means, meaning they didn't give it a name that has nothing to do with the geography of it, is what I'm saying. Australia, and now this one's called Unknown Land in the South. That's Australia. Europe, that's another one that we should be familiar with. It's named after a Phoenician, in Greek mythology, it's named after a Phoenician prince, a Phoenician consort of Zeus. And it refers to go down or to set, as in the sun setting. Don't you see also how these etymological descriptions of the continents can tell you about astronomy as well, meaning astronomy is a prevalent and significant science throughout culture, throughout Indo-European cultures, throughout Asian cultures, because again, to set, they're referring to the sun, right? So there's Asian culture. You can see that in American culture. Astronomy and astrology is a part of everything that we see in culture and in religions, right? And even in the practices that we do, and you see it in the name of the continents. Now, with the countries, you have Sierra Leone, which means Lion Mountain. Dominican Republic, the Republic of Dominic, and Dominic refers to the head. It also refers to Sunday as in Domingo, which is the head day of the week. Therefore, the week starts on Sunday, not on Monday, because that's the moon day, the second. It starts on Sunday. Dominicus also refers to lordly, again, lordly because of being the head, Yes, that's your hand up.
Islam, hold on 1 second.
Oh.
Hold on, Selah. I want to let the brother Baruch come. He wants to say a little something real quick to you guys. Everybody know Baruch?
Yes.
Okay. Islam.
I got to be careful. I got all these scholars in there. I got to check my etymology and the hermeneutical scholarly work that I did before. No, but great pleasure to speak with you earlier. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. It's again an honor to be able to host an activity such as this, and I can see the thirst and the drive as I'm able to see you all. When you don't know I'm seeing you all, just seeing the room full last week was like really a blessing to know that there's so many of us that have a drive and a hunger and a desire to get information to correct and to improve upon our situation. And I got to thank Brother Ali, because Ali came back to me after, you all know, when Taj was coming down at first, it was here, and then we moved to another place, and then Ali came back to me and said, hey, would you be willing, and would you be able to open up your house to allow us to come back in? And Everlasting Life and this whole vision was to provide a viable food source to a community that's disserved and underserved. And if you only look at food as what you chew, as opposed to what you digest and consume, you miss it, because that's what it is that we're getting tonight. You're getting that food that you wouldn't get otherwise, and that viable food that will cause us and allow us to many times change our circumstances, empower us, and improve our situation as a community of people. So, I'm really honored to be able to host this, and I'm also responsible, and I want to share my responsibility in that I want us to know that, the relationship that I have with Brother Ali and how this all comes into being and how this is really going to work is when you all recognize that, okay, You know, let me help the brother out. Let me, you know, let me support his business as he's doing something that maybe I just thought it was a restaurant, because I'm not a restaurateur. I didn't go to Wharton School of Restaurant Management in order to figure out how to run a management. I realized that in our community, food is where we are being attacked. Nutrition is where we're being attacked. Health is where we're being attacked. And I said, I'm going to leave corporate America making $250,000 a year as a corporate engineer. I jumped out of that and I said, our people got to eat. Our people got to eat healthy food. You know, so I want you all to understand the responsibility that I took on, and I need your support in that decision. As, you know, you all got to know, some of you all know how to eat. Some of y'all know to eat healthy, and you know where we're coming from with the food here. You know, it's, there's a challenge that I have for those of us who are, you know, really strong, stomp down nationalists. You're really tough and you mean, and you could kick my behind right now because you're just that tough. You studied all the stuff that you need to study, but then you eat the food of your enemy. And how does that translate in your mind? Is it just because it tastes so good? Is it because it's so inexpensive? Is it because it's so readily available to you in your neighborhood? You know, and if we don't support the institutions that support us, then what we'll end up having to do is go to the Mormons Marriott and you know, do our work inside of, you know, an institution that, you know, I'm sure there are times that we've run over, you know, and this is our house, you know, so let's show your support. I appreciate it if you do. I'm not able to come here and talk to you all every week, but if you would show your support, it makes it easier for us, you know, to continue this. So when Brother Ali says, like he's told me just tonight, he wants to take another night on so that we could do this and expand the conversation and give our people an opportunity to hear again information that they're not hearing anyplace else, you know, and confabbing with people that they might not otherwise be connecting with otherwise, you know. So you know, show your support. And this isn't about beating you over the head, you know. I'm just asking, and I'm asking because, you know, it's that kind of hour, you know. Asking because it's that kind of hour. I could use your support. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the brother and the sister, and brother and all those who are speaking and all those in the audience. Brother Ali, you know, for putting this together and having a vision to make it happen, because I know it ain't easy. This ain't easy. It's not easy for, you know, folks to travel from wherever they travel from, you know, so show respect and honor and support them, and let's continue to build, you know, and prayerfully, you know, you'll hear about the new restaurants that we're opening up in the area, and you'll see the continued expansion as we look to expand on, again, not just the food that we consume and chew, but the nourishment that we get through our ears and our eyes and all the other ways that we get in. Thank you all very much.
You know, I personally have made a change in my eating habits about, I'd say about 5 years ago. You know, I changed a lot up. And one of the things I always tell my students is that you have to be able to read what is in your food. So etymology can help you with that too. So just wanted to tie in. You know. No, seriously. I mean, I always say if you see a word and it's not something that you can readily identify as food, then 9 times out of 10 it's not, and you probably don't want to eat it. You don't want to ingest it. So. And then you can find out what that chemical is via etymology. So, you know, you stating that actually makes me think I might want to put that in my presentation too. Yeah. So, all right. So we left off Puerto Rico, right? Puerto Rico means rich port. I put this piece of gold here because that should let you know why was the port where quote unquote Puerto Rico was located, why was it so rich? Because of the gold. Etymology of the name of the place can tell you a lot. I found that some places are named in Latin or Spanish or French, depending on who occupied the land, right? So these are examples. Honduras is Spanish for depth. Then you have names where the origins have, the original name has just been anglicized. It's been or romanced, which means made into a Latin form or made into a English, Anglo-English, made into what we would say in English today. So Haiti, in Arawak or Taino, it's Haiti, without the H. Haiti, without the H. Not Haiti, that's the modern day English way to say the word, right? So these are key because you can kind of see more closely what the indigenous name of the place is, okay? And it means mountainous land. Jamaica as well. Jamaica, however, the meaning of it is land of wood and water. Also, it's been found to mean land of springs. Therefore, once again, very, very, very similar in the way it's spelled, very close to the way it's pronounced, but it's just been given a more English or Latin sounding name. Then you have ones that are just based off of, I'll go to this one, that are based off of the indigenous name, coming from the tribes. So here we have, I chose all of these. If you notice, all of these nations have a similar ending. They all end in what? Stan, right, which refers to standing, like standing in a place. So it refers to the land. This is the land. Paki is pure. So Pakistan is pure land. Afghan is a tribal name. So Afghanistan is the land of the Afghans. Hindustan, which is India, which we know is India today, transliterates from Indus, which is Latin, to Hindu, which is Persian, to Sind, which is the ancient name. Kazakhstan, tribe. Kazakh is a tribe. Tajik is a tribe. Here, I thought this was interesting. When you break down this word right here, the K-R-Y, it refers to tribes. And the K-R-Y-G refers to tribes. The YZ, this part right here, refers to 40. So it's the land of 40 tribes. And, you can see the rest up here. So point being that these are more closely linked to the indigenous name because here, these are the tribes that were prevalent in that particular area. So that's just something I noted as well that I added to my presentation. I'm going to keep adding to it. I'm going to add terms about the study of flags and the study of seals and adding things about genealogy, about your bloodline, about pedigree, about consanguinity. So, I'm going to add to this presentation, and each time I come, I will present a little bit more. Okay. Where did he go? My time. 8:56, so I got about 5 minutes. Okay. All right, in my last 5 minutes, I have another presentation to bring up. Abdullah, I'm having trouble. Okay, I got it, but I want to get out. Okay. Last one. Okay, this is picking up from dictionary, and then we're all looking them up together. So we're studying together. It's not just we're not just presenting, but we are workshopping. This is class, right? So let's see. Does anybody, and remember, where do you find the Indo-European root of the word? It's what? Etymological brackets. That's right. So has anybody found theirs yet? Yes. What is your root? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Knowledge. Does it give you Proto-Indo-European? Okay. Okay, that's right. Yours is S-K-E-I. S-K-E-I. Did you find yours? Let me see your word. Okay. And then you would look that word up, but you don't have time right now. But you would look that word up. And you're going to see, but notice this. It says science. Oh, similar to what word did I have him look up? Scientific, which again refers to knowledge. So that's how you're able to see what nice really means when you look it up in that dictionary, because you see it's related to the word science. Science meaning to know. Therefore, when can I put that up? Yeah, it's okay. N-E in front of science, right? That's what you found in her dictionary. Okay, so you see the word science, N-E in front of it, meaning not. That's how you get not. Well, what does science mean? To know. So to not know. That's why nice means to not know. Okay, what did we get for witness? So looking it up, what did we get for advisory? Mm-hmm. Where's the advisory? Mm-hmm. What you would want to do, okay, let me state this for everybody. When you are looking in your dictionary, if you cannot find the word, if you can't see it in the brackets for that word, you want to look up another word that has the same root just by looking at it. Therefore, advisory, right? If I take off the AD, what do I have? And I take off the Y, what do I have? Visor, right. So you would want to look that up. What I'm going to tell you for the sake of time is that, so here are the roots, and here are the Proto-Indo-European roots. Notice that witness was W-I-T. Advisory was V-I-D. That's the root. Then I take it further back to its Indo-European root, because these are roots in different languages, in Greek, in Latin, but we want to trace it back to its mother, which is Indo-European, which is W-E-I-D, which means to look or to see. That's why vid and wit both mean to look or to see, because they have the same Indo-European root. I didn't have y'all look this one up, but look at the word affidavit. Root is fid, and then look at fealty. The root F-E-A. Both of them have been transliterated from this root B-H-E-I-D-H, which means, okay. So you want to get your words down to here. Now, again, my goal today was to actually show you how the spelling changes, because there are different methods of changing the way that a car is spelled. For example, I have B-I-D and W-I-T. What has changed? The W has changed, the B and the W has changed, the D and the T has changed. And there are two forms of consonant change that we use to classify the text. One is called permutation, which is changing the spelling of a cognate through a classification system. And then you have transmutation, which is changing across a classification system. Abdullah actually has this on his website. This is how you classify consonants. All right. I don't know if you can tell. This is labials, that's your lips. Nasals, that's your teeth. Gutturals, that's your throat. How do I make the sound? Oh, I make labial sounds with my mouth, like like the letter M. I use your lips. You always use your mouth to talk, but your lips, I use my lips to make the N. I use my lips to make the B, right? Same for P, V, F, and W. Versus my teeth, the dominant usage. For T, I'm using my teeth mostly. For D, using my teeth mostly. So you want to study this. This is on Abdullah's website. I suggest you all look at it, because I will refer to this when I really get into the change of the forms. I would have gotten into it today, but I really wanted to show you the presentation, because my colleagues really enjoyed it. I mean, European and Moorish colleagues. I mean, the Europeans are shocked, like, oh God, who heard all this information? I mean, they look really shocked. They were looking at me like, so, you know, it's powerful. It's powerful. And that, I say Islam, and thank you very much.
I'm going to spend about 20 minutes. About 2 o'clock this morning, I was up, you know, on my internet, my phone, and came across this site called Logical Fallacy, the etymological fallacy, alias abuse of etymology. So we're going to analyze that. The mistake of confusing the current meaning of a word with the meaning of the etymon to be the real or true meaning of the current word. I'll read it again. The mistake of confusing the current meaning of a word with the meaning of the etymon to be the real or true meaning of the current word. I'll continue. The fact, move on. Since the meaning of the words change over time, often considerably, the meaning of a etymon may be very different from the current meaning of a word derived from it. The fact that a word historically derives from an etymon may be interesting, but it cannot tell us the current meaning of a word. For instance, the English word decimate means to destroy a large portion of, but is derived from a Latin word having to do with a tenth of something. See the source below for more on its etymology. Some people who know this insist that decimate therefore means to destroy, exactly 1/10, rather than a large part, and may claim that as its real or true meaning. However, current English is not Latin. Logical. The etymological fallacy as a logical mistake results when one reasons about the etymon as if the conclusion applied to the current word. This is a logical error similar to evocation, which involves confusing two meanings of the same word. But it differs from evocation that the etymological fallacy involves the meaning of two different words through those words are historically connected. All right, let's analyze that. What do you get? What do you get out of this? Taj, do not talk. Selah, do not talk. Taj, do not talk, and Selah, do not talk. All right, what do we? They're calling this. They're calling the use of etymology as its current meaning to be a logical fallacy. They're saying that the current meaning of the word is the correct meaning, and the etymological meaning is a fallacious meaning. To use etymology is confusing. This is what they're saying. They're calling this logical fallacy, etymological fallacy. What do you think about this? All right, trying to keep us from knowing our history. Any other thoughts? Selah, do not talk. Taj, do not talk. You were in the back. All right. Keep us on the wrong track. All right. Give me more detail. Keep us on the wrong track of what? From what? Anyone else? This is the kind of discussions that I had when I started studying etymology. My co-workers, teachers, would say to me that etymology cannot be used. How can the students use etymology? They have to know the current meaning of words. Etymology does not give the students the current meaning of words. That's not, I'm not saying that. That's what my fellow co-workers who are teachers stated. So the fallacy that they're presenting is that it's confusing to use etymology and present it as its true meaning, and to say that the etymological meaning of the word is its current meaning. Any other thoughts? How can we use etymology? Is etymology the current meaning of a word? Is the etymon of a word its current meaning? Or is the connotative meaning of a word its current meaning? What do you mean by current meaning? This question. What do you mean by current meaning? Anyone? What they present to us today. Is etymology, is the etymon, the etymological meaning of a word, its current meaning? And not in all cases. And what are some cases in which it's not its current meaning? And what cases is etymology not its current meaning? In what cases is etymology not its current meaning? You say it's not in all cases. So if you're saying not in all cases, that means that there's some cases in which etymology it's its current meaning. What does eta mean? True and real. So the etymology of a word is its true meaning. The etymology of the word is its current meaning. The current meaning, the etymology does not change. What occurs is new meanings, connotative meanings are developed, and the true and real meaning is suppressed. So you have semanticists who's trying to get this off. They're trying to present the argument that the etymology, to make an etymological argument, is confusing because you're bringing in